What's going on, people? This is your boy Michael O, your Chief Motivational Officer. Listen, I am excited to bring you a brand new podcast, Moving Mountains, hosted by myself. Find me on Spotify, find us on iTunes, find us on YouTube. Connect with us, Moving Mountains Podcast. What's going on, people? Welcome to the Moving Mountains Podcast. I am your host, Michael O. This is another episode of Wisdom Wednesdays, and I have a very, very special guest. He's a special kind of an entrepreneur, actually, because on the surface, he looks like all he does is throw big parties and live la vida loca. But what he's been able to do is really interesting because he has built big hospitality events and marketing businesses across Dubai and Ibiza. And I'm really, really excited to get into his head today. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest, Chris Wright. Thank you for coming on the Moving Mountains podcast. It's been a minute. I've been trying to pin you down. Oh my goodness.
Apologies.
Listen, you have a whirlwind of a lifestyle, mate.
Yeah.
But congratulations to everything that you've got
Thank you
going
very
on. It's
much.
brilliant.
Thanks for having me.
Mate, absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. It's inspiring to see. It's inspiring to watch.
You.
I want to talk about all of the entrepreneurial side of it because for me, that's what I find so fascinating.
Okay.
As an entrepreneur, I like to call myself a peaceful entrepreneur. Okay. I like businesses that give me peace. Okay. Right? Events are chaotic. They are absolutely chaotic. Yeah. I know I'm not built for that, especially in the nightclub scene, Dubai, Ibiza, all of that, and all the expansions you're doing. So we'll talk about that. Yep. But I want to kind of take it back a little bit. You're from Liverpool, mate. How does a Liverpool lad end up in Dubai?
I started off in Liverpool in nightlife. So when I was very, very young, I've told this story before to a few people, but some people don't know it. So I was a kids DJ for kids parties. So I was very young. I was about 12, 13 years old. My mum and dad for Christmas bought me like a set of like CD player, like wasn't like decks or anything, it was like CD player with sound system. And I just started advertising myself to go and DJ at parties. So a lot of mums and dads would like see my advertisement, like, you know, in like the schools and stuff. Cute. So I used to go do the party and then basically make money from that. So I've always been in, that's not nightlife, but you know, in that industry of entertainment and music and putting on events and stuff. So that was where it all started. And then as I started to get to about 16, 17, I really got into my DJ and I wanted to be a DJ. That was like the main focus for me. So I was like, right, where'd you go when you want to be a DJ? You go to Ibiza, right? Of course. It's the Hollywood of DJs, right? Absolutely. So I went to Ibiza, packed my bags, one-way flight. Mum wasn't too happy. I was literally just turned 18, so she was like, oh, I can't believe you're going to Ibiza. You're only 18 and you're not going for a week, you go for 4 or 5 months. Wow. So I had to persuade her, but I managed to get there. And I just started doing events straight away because I couldn't get any work DJing. It was very difficult to DJ when you obviously no one knows who you are. You've got no music behind you. It's very competitive
for DJs.
I mean, it's the most difficult place to try and get gigs, especially back then as well. Yeah. So this was 2007. It was. So so I just started. I got a job. Basically just selling tickets for an event for a company called Pucker Up. And I was a ticket seller on a beach. I used to go around the beaches, going up to people on holiday, like, what's going on? Do you want to come on a boat party? Do you want to come to Es Paradis? So I really got into that and I started to learn a lot about, you know, events, nightlife, running a club night, because we had a club night at Es Paradis, which is in San Antonio. So I learned a lot from it and I really was intrigued by it all. So that was like kind of my foot in the door to try and get my DJ work, because I was like, right, if I'm going to be selling them tickets, surely they're going to let me play at least once, even if it's the early set, right? Like, you know, I'll do the warm-up set, I'll do whatever, even if there's no one in the club. It's just, you know, you want to grow your portfolio. So it just sort of stemmed from there, really. And then I had a business as well. So my business in Liverpool, when I was doing the event, I was selling photo keyrings. So I had like a photo keyring business, and I did photography, video, did the DJ. And so I was kind of like one of them mobile DJs where you can book it all and we do everything in one package. So I took that business to Ibiza as well. So that was a side hustle. So I was selling photo keyrings in the West End. I had about 5 staff working for me. They used to go around all the bars selling the keyrings. I used to just come, see, how are you getting on? Right, you need to sell more tonight. So still had my little side hustle. I was always, you know, doing a bit of entrepreneurial stuff. But at the time I was focusing on, you know, trying to sell the most tickets, getting myself in the ranks of the DJs and in the clubs. And then that was where it all started, really. And then Dubai came in 2013. and I just keep wanted to sort of expand what I was doing. And
I mean, if we fast forward from my beefer, at my last count, you're probably doing maybe about 60 events a month, maybe more now in Dubai alone.
In summertime now, we're doing about 150 events a month.
Okay,
which is
insane.
It's I don't know how. I've got a very good team, got a lot of good business partners. So we've got, at the moment, we've created about, I'd say about 32 brands.
Incredible.
That are like actively going every day in, you know, different venues around Spain and Dubai and England.
How many members of staff do you have? Because for me, obviously you clearly have an entrepreneurial acumen which you've developed from a very early age. My least favorite thing to do is manage
people.
I always make sure in all of my business I have a partner who is absolutely brilliant at managing stuff.
That's what I do.
Right. Yeah. So
I have very good business partners, and I'm very grateful for them, and they manage a lot of that side of it. I'm kind of like the sort of face of the brand. Like I kind of do a lot of the business side of it with the deals. Like I'll go out and like obviously try and secure contracts, get venues on board, get hype. I work with a lot of influencers, so I help obviously try and sell the event out obviously through my platform. So I'm more that side. I do manage the team, and I'm in and out, but it's not a full-time part of what I do. I'm sort of in and out the events, and
One of the things I find with a lot of stuff in Dubai, for me, just getting a team that I can trust is insane. Everybody's always trying to take your position. Everybody's always trying to make.
That's the worst.
how are you dealing with that?
To be honest, it's happened to me many times. Obviously over the years, I've probably employed hundreds of people, maybe more. So. People do want to do what you do, and that's fine. If people want to do that, but sometimes
when you're great at it, you make it look easy.
You do make it look easy, and I think everyone kind of sees what you do and think, right, okay, I could do that. But there's ways about doing it, right? Like you have respect for what you do, and if there's an opportunity to go and do it, inform me or partner with me, or instead of like going and do it yourself and not really telling you. So.
What has been the most difficult thing about setting up? Because Dubai, especially with events, I mean, of course, you're dominating the market at the moment, but it's a very competitive market.
Yes.
How have you? What's been one of the most difficult things? Oh shoot, I'm sure there's more than one. You can tell it. You can share with us, a couple of some of the toughest things that you've had to face.
I think
establishing this business.
The most difficult thing is staying relevant and keeping your brand alive. Now we work with, again, 30 different venues, so like managing contracts every single month, keeping that contract. Everyone's a client, right? At the end of the day, like you don't just go to an venue and go, can I put an event on, and then you put it on and that's it. There's a contract in place.
Absolutely.
And the contract can be 20 pages long. You don't know. This is another thing that you asked me about how to learn about obviously what I do. So this is another thing that people probably won't know about. Every contract has a clause in it. Every contract has a deliverable. We don't just put an event on. I have to supply this. I have to do the entertainment. I have to design the artwork. I have to do the videography. I have to do the photography. I have to have a team. I have to do the PR, press releases, hype, influencer management. Everything that is a contract, and we do that very well. That's why we obviously have quite a lot of events.
Absolutely.
So managing that every day with all of the different events, it's not one event a month. It's 20 to 30 events a week.
That's so crazy.
I don't know how we do it, but again, we do have a really good team, and I'm fortunate that we've got a solid team right now. But it's took a while to get that team in place. Do
you sleep? Do you get? When do you sleep?
I do sleep. I mean, I probably get about 6 hours. I'm not one of them who's late. Like I get up early and I'm out late. I don't know really how I manage to do it, but I kind of get by on it.
You've got to do what you've got to do. So for me, when I'm getting into any business, I know my biggest gift is sales, right? That's what I'm good at. I try as much as possible across the board to stick to that. Get me in front of the client, get me on the phone to them, I'll close the deal. Those are my skills. What would you say your immediately identifiable skills are that helps you run this business
my
successfully?
business? So I'd say two things. So sales is one of them. I am the sales guy. I can sell.
It's essential in any business, really, isn't it?
Business. You can't just go to venues like 5-star venues. Like we work with the best venues in Dubai, like Atlantis, Five, Caesar's Palace, the Ritz, Versace. Like these are 5-star resorts, right? So these are like they're difficult to work with, not work with as in work together with them, to get in there, to work with them, you know.
Yes.
They get proposals sent every day. They get people asking them every day, can we do this, can we do that? So for me, like that, selling myself and selling what I do and selling how I'm going to be able to help them achieve their goals. At the end of the day, they wouldn't want to work with me if they needed help in some way. You know, every hotel has multiple restaurants, multiple venues. They can't make them all a success 7 nights a week. Absolutely. Right? So I come in and help them extend their, you know, their revenue, make it bigger, get more people through the door, help them with the creative side of it. So that's another thing. Which
so
is
you're
my strong
pretty good
thing.
at marketing as well.
Yeah, so I do the creative side. So a lot of my contracts are based on marketing. So I will create campaign videos. So that's what I studied at university. So I did media, television, marketing, advertising. So it was more about TV adverts and how to sell a product, how to sell a brand. So the way I kind of do things is I look at it as if I'm going to put it on a TV advert. I'm kind of like a marketeer of, I'm going to sell the product like it's an advert. It's not just, you know, trying to get people to go have drinks and have food. There's a creative element to it. And that's kind of what I do all the time. So a lot of the hotels, they love this sort of creativity that I bring to it, and I can create a concept for them that they would not maybe have thought about. And then I'll go, right, this is what we should do on this night, and let's do this. And then we try and make it award-winning.
What is one of the most successful marketing tactics that you use here in Dubai? Because there's a lot of avenues. There's social media is saturated. All of this influencer stuff. What works best for you, would you say?
What works best for me? It's a difficult one, really. There's a lot of different things now, obviously, with technology, you know, sort of progressing. I remember back in the day when I used to put an event on and I would literally only have my flyers and me telling people. That was it. Like I had nothing. Like I couldn't do Google, couldn't do Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. That was not existing. So I could hire a venue and it was completely empty. And if I didn't tell people face to face or actually hand them a flyer, they would not know about it. You know, so it was, now it's great because, you know, I'd say your social media is your key. I think without having Instagram and Facebook, I think, and Google, I think that's a big part of what you do. But again, for me, I'm kind of lucky in a way that I've built a reputation of, if I do put an event on, people know it's going to be a good event. It's going to be credible. I don't ever put something on and we get 100 reviews going, oh my God, that was awful. Like that was bad. I hated the food. The service is awful. Like, I make sure, like, you know, we work with credible venues. So
you've got crazy 150 events. Obviously, they're not all the same thing.
No.
So what sort of variety? I mean, you've got the nightclubs, you've got family brunches. Give us a little bit, because I went to one of your. I'll come back and talk about the Bronx in a little bit, because I went to your spot the other day. I fully enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
But you've got quite a wide variety of events that you put on.
So we do everything, every type of event you can possibly think of. So as I said, we've got about 33 brands. So one of the main ones is secret parties, which we created just over 4 years ago. So that's one of my main sort of brands that we focus on, because we've got such a big portfolio of events. So we do dinner parties, we work with Sailor V, we do brunches. Brunches is probably our main thing. We're known as one of the most popular brunches in Dubai. We do sometimes, well, in the winter, probably doing around 11 brunches on a Saturday afternoon, which is mental. So we do brunches. I created a concept many years ago called Ladies Day, which you've probably heard of. I was like the person that basically brought it to Dubai. I kind of flipped Ladies Night on its head and created Ladies Day. So we were doing it. I used to work at Zero Gravity, so we did it there at Zero, and then the rest is history, really. There's like Ladies Days all over Dubai. So I do Ladies Days, we do pool parties, we do dinner parties, ladies nights, family events. I own a company called Pucker Up, which is the company that I was originally working for back in the day. So I bought the company with me and my business partner.
Good stuff.
A friend of mine, Mark and Dom, who's the founders of it. They've kind of retired from it and sort of passed it to us. So we bought the company. So we do boat parties. So we do like Ibiza, obviously 3 times a week. We do Greece, Spain. So we've got like boat parties in different places. We do club nights in Eden every Saturday, so that we've got a residency there called Wonderland, which is cool. And then we do Ocean Beach, O Beach, I should say. So I've got a residency there every Monday, which is called House in Paradise. And then I've got another brand called Sin Sundays, which we've been doing for 10 years. in Ibiza as well. So just family brunch as well.
Okay. So how many different businesses do you have? Because obviously you've got events, and then you've got some hospitality. How many? What don't we know?
Okay.
What are the variety?
So I've got 7 businesses in total. A lot of them are different with different business partners. My main business, which is kind of like my holding company, is called the Wright Group, and that's kind of like a consultancy marketing agency. So I will work alongside 5-star hotels. They will come to me. They will say, we need help with this venue. We need to launch this club. I'm going to Zurich next week to launch the Five is opening a new hotel in Zurich, so they're flying me out there. So I'm launching a hotel with them, helping with the PR press, putting it on the map and stuff like that. So that company's kind of like consultancy, like helping hotels, helping venues, helping people, helping brands create, hype and do marketing and visuals. We do music videos, we create adverts for brands and products. So that's one company. And then a lot of the other companies are kind of events companies, so they're separate in a way. Like Pucker Up is an event company which has the boat parties and Secret Parties is a Secret Party. Secret Parties is an agency as well. So we build brands and concepts.
And all of these companies you have partners with?
All have partners with,
Smart.
So different people, which I've met along the years of being friends with.
So are you involved heavily in the day-to-day running of any of the businesses?
Not heavily in all of them. I mainly focus on my day-to-day is my own company, obviously the Wright Group, but obviously Secret Parties, we're all in the same office. So, obviously we're all sort of, I help out where I can in certain areas. I go and get new business, I'll go and sign a new brunch up or a new venue, and then obviously then we just pass on to the team. The team help us expand it. But a day-to-day is different. Like I've got a gym, I've got a bar, so it's like that is... I'm there one night and then I'm in the gym and then I'm here and this. So it's just, it's crazy.
Exciting. It's brilliant. It's so inspiring to see everything that you're building. Like I said, I went to your bar,
Bronx,
the Bronx, which is quite interesting because obviously by throwing events, you're usually using other people's venues.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now you've got your own venue.
Yeah.
How are you enjoying that?
This came to me in the pandemic. So it was. I used to have a bar in Liverpool and I had one in Ibiza. I was a shareholder into 2 bars. So I know the industry very well and I enjoyed it. But I kind of, when I moved to Dubai, I just sort of had to give it all up and then start from scratch again. So it's nice to kind of finally get back into owning a venue again and having a brand that you can focus on 7 nights a week. But the concept's insane. I mean, Blah Blah's, it's next level. It's 20 different bars in one space. I mean, it's never been done before in the Middle East. So I think
it's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's a very cool venue. And I think when I got shown the plans and the renders of it, I was like, oh my word, this is next level.
Yeah.
So I got like a little slice of it and had to create a concept, which was the Bronx. It was kind of like a blank canvas in a way. It was very rustic, the venue at the time, but they didn't really have an actual brand for it. They didn't know what it was going to be. So I just had this concept, which I've been sitting on for a good 3 years. And I was like, that is the spot I need to do the Bronx. Like I've got so many different brands that I have in my head that I write down, but that just came to me. I was like, right, this is where the Bronx needs to be. Definitely.
It's amazing. What other plans do you have? What else do you want to do?
Oh, I can't really talk about it. I've got a good 3 projects pending.
Amazing.
Which is going to be in hospitality, nightlife again. I can't really talk about it just because
you have to come back. Yeah,
I'll come back when we've launched them. But I am expanding. Obviously that was the plan to open more venues and
For me as an entrepreneur, I always prefer to use other people's money to do stuff. It's what's sort of your strategy in
I mean, for me, I'll be honest, like I've never ever used anyone's money, which is I've always thought in my head when I have certain ideas for businesses, I would go and get a loan or get an investor or get a sponsor or whatever. It's never been like that, which I wish it was. I regret it.
In the sense that you've always been, you're self-sufficient where you are now, where you don't need to do that, or it's the fact that
I've always been very scared in a way of using other people's money.
Just because there's more responsibility, isn't it?
More responsibility, more stress. So if I gone and found an investor and he had no involvement in it, but he was going to find out when's it going to get you know, when we opening, what are we making? That to me would have more stress in it. Like I kind of like to enjoy the fact that I invest my own money. If I have a business partner, we invest together, and it's our money, and we don't have anyone to answer to. If that makes any sense. So that's
definitely more peaceful that way.
It's more peaceful, but I think I do sometimes regret certain situations that maybe we should have got investors in certain things, because with the pandemic that you couldn't project,
right?
It really did kill me. Like it was a very probably the most difficult time in my life, as it was for everyone. As an entrepreneur, when you don't have any support, any investors, you know, no help, you know, out where you live.
Like, I mean, a lot of businesses
just
were
on
affected,
your own, basically. You know,
with
with
hospitality and events, went to a halt.
It honestly like ruined us. Like it was the most challenging time.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like when it kind of came back, when it bounced back, I think everyone was kind of like, oh, everything's back. And I'm like, it's not the same. It's like I'm trying to explain this to people. Like, I'm not back. Like we aren't back. Like nightlife is not back. Recently, we've only just been allowed to dance.
Yes,
you know, recently we've just been allowed to drink at a bar. Like we went out, there was a rule where you couldn't have a drink at a bar. Yeah. You had to be vaccinated, and you know,
literally last year you couldn't even stand.
You couldn't stand up. You had to wear a mask. So you know, although we were open and everyone's like, "Oh, it looks great," and like, "Wow, you know, you're back." I'm like, "We're not back." I said, "I'm barely even scraping the barrel of making a profit. Like we are just breaking even, and we broke even for about a year and a half." So we were working 10 times harder. Yeah. Because obviously, like, we were trying to control people. We were trying to not get fines. I obviously opened a bar on the week of when the pandemic was kind of easing up a little bit. So it was January, and we weren't allowed entertainment or music. So to open a bar, going all guns blazing, trying to get people to come in and go, I'm launching a brand new venue. We've got 20 bars. We've got this, but we can't play any music. I mean, how, if you would have said that to someone like 2-3 years ago, and you said to an entrepreneur or a business owner who's going to open a nightclub, you can open it, but you can't play music, you'd be like, well, why am I doing this? But you can't go back. You've just built it. You've just spent all this money on it. So that was a challenging time, you know, trying to deal with that and like, and keep it alive, even though your rent didn't change and your staff didn't change. Everything was the same.
Right. You still had to pay staff.
Everything was the same. My office, my staff, you know, you couldn't put everyone on, you know, no salary, or you need people to make your business work. And if you're fully committed to something in a contract, you can't go back. So it's just,
it was crazy. It was crazy.
Deal with it. You got to deal with it.
It was crazy. And the thing is, like you said, we're not back to the.
We're still not. You know,
and if you look at the news and all of that, it appears as if we're heading to a recession, a pretty big one. Yeah. All of those things. How are you putting any contingencies in place to be able to help you through anything like that?
So I mean, for us, we're just kind of we're trying to expand as much as we can. Okay. You know, the more business we have, the better, really. Yeah. I think a lot of venues were very skeptical about putting on events and doing things. Yeah. I was probably one of the first promoters to kind of just go, right, let's do it. Like,
let's go for it.
You know, we'll be very safe and very, you know, we'll keep everything, you know, in the, you know, the system of the masks and this and the distance, and we control it, but we have a business to run. We've got rent to pay. We've got bills to pay. The venues don't, you know, they don't get free rent when, you know, we can't, you know, dance. You still got to go and you've got to crack on. So, yeah, so we're just trying to do as much as I can. That's why I do so much. I'm just like, keep going.
And of course, you've got Dubai, you've got Ibiza, and so it's all of these different. You have your overhead in terms of your outlay and your commitment is pretty huge.
It's big.
So anything. Well, listen, it's it's a scary. Is the events. Look, I've always looked at getting into events. There's some of my friends who've come into Dubai who are into events, and they're like, look, we're looking for investors. We want people to get involved and And I've always been a little bit skeptical. So I'm like, you know, it's not something that I fully understand, have definitely not done on my own. Mm-hmm. Is it a profitable enough business for me? I mean, I'm just trying to see what those margins are looking like.
It was. Yeah. I mean, it's not right now. It's difficult now. It still is difficult. Because 2019 was the best year I've ever had. Like, financially, it was amazing, and that was where I made quite a lot of money, you know, to try and that's where I've used a lot of that money to invest and keep going and surviving. Without that year, I probably wouldn't be where I am today, still here, you know, because that was, you know, I saved and I made sure I had, you know, some money in the bank to if ever something happened, and it did happen,
and it did happen.
It did. I had staff to try and support as much as I possibly could. I had rent to pay, I had bills to pay, I still had contracts that were, we were still outstanding on a lot of, we work obviously by invoicing the venues. So, when everything shut down, we still had a lot of outstanding invoices to be paid.
You're dealing with big venues. Those people are not in a hurry to pay.
They closed. They closed. The whole accounts teams, they shut down. The venues were closed. There was no tourists coming in. There was no people staying in the rooms. So, we're all in the same boat. So you kind of have to respect that they're in the same boat as me. But at the same time, I'm not a big giant hotel chain. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, right, okay, we need to make sure we hustle and we keep alive. So we don't lose these clients and contracts. But at the same time, it's difficult because you are owed a lot of money when obviously everything did pause, but you were kind of like, when you're doing events, this is like one thing. I'm not going to try and put you off of doing events, but you kind of work.
I mean, no.
You kind of work backwards in a way. So like you will pay for a lot of things up front. So you pay for your marketing straight away, right?
Yes.
Pay for, you've obviously got to pay for your staff that work full time every day, on time every month. Entertainment, they come a little bit later because you have to wait till you get invoiced for the event to then pay the entertainment. But again, you've still got to pay obviously your entertainment. So there's a lot of costs that come into place to put the event on. But sometimes like you do have to wait a while to get paid, and that's just how it is. People take time. When you're not working with a nightclub, you're working with a hotel chain,
right?
And that's how it is. Like that's how it is in most businesses. Some people don't get paid commission for certain things for a long time. So you've got to always make sure that you're sustainable on keeping your bank balance strong and keeping your staff happy and that they're motivated in the office.
Well, how many members of staff do you have now altogether?
Good question. I'd say full time in house, full time with the company. I'd say about 36. Full time, but we employ probably around about 70 staff. Because we have freelance staff,
of course,
probably about 70 to 80. So we employ a lot of entertainment. So we do supply a lot of entertainment around Dubai and Spain as well. So a lot of them work on contracts with us where they do once a week, twice a week, or multiple venues.
What's the big idea? What's the end goal?
End goal?
Yeah. What is your motivation?
For me, it's weird really because I'm obviously in hospitality, but I'm also a big I'm into my movies and films and directing and stuff. That's kind of what I wanted to do when I was in university. So I love creating marketing. I love creating campaigns. For me, like advertising is huge. So I kind of would love my agency to kind of be like, the top company to sort of, the big brands would come to me and say, well, we need a new advert, we need a new campaign.
Nice.
That's what I enjoy doing, the creative side of it. But also hospitality will always be my guilty pleasure. So I would love to have a bigger portfolio of hotels and, restaurants and bars. Not that I own any hotels, but working with big hotels and, taking it maybe to America and, just continuing to expand and helping hotels grow their business.
Exciting stuff. Last question I'm going to ask you.
Yep.
I'm coming into Dubai. I'm looking for somewhere to go.
Okay.
What are the top 5 events that Chris Wright is going to recommend?
You're probably on the spot now. I can't even.
Top 5 events.
We do that many. So the other venues will probably watch this podcast and go, you didn't put us in the top 5.
Listen.
It's tough. I'm going to be clever now. So I'm going to say a secret brunch.
Yeah.
Definitely do a secret brunch. Definitely do one of my ladies' days because they're really affordable and they're great fun, to go to. And then what else? Definitely do a family brunch. One of my family brunches is really good, especially if you've got kids and you are just dying to go out and have a couple of drinks, enjoy a little bit of entertainment, but you're like, what do I do with the kids? We look after the kids. We've got nannies there. We've got, a full-on team. The team, like, the arts and crafts, like, entertainment, like, it's taken care of. So if you're young, because I created that because I'm 33 now, so a lot of my friends are all got kids. One of my best friends, she's got one on the way. She's got 3 kids. So we were kind of like, right, well, you can't come out anymore. So that was kind of that. Definitely go to Ocean Beach, do one of my pool parties there. We do House in Paradise and we do Sin.
That's in Ibiza, right?
In Ibiza, and I definitely recommend, if you're young, if you listen to this and you may be like 18, 19, definitely go on a pucker up boat. They're so fun. Like I mean, I I go on it now because obviously I own the company. But like when you're 18, you've got to go on a boat party. It's crucial. Like
it's mental.
It's mental. Like, you know, you wouldn't maybe in your 30s, you might not go on it, but like when you're 18, you first
I still love a boat party.
It is good. It is good.
Vibe,
but you know, obviously you feel a bit old, don't you? When you go, I mean, when I go on it now, I'm like, oh my god, like I'm getting older, all 18. But if you're 18, 19, 20, 21, I mean, you can go on it what age. It's for everyone. But I'm just, when you get to try a pucker up boat, it really is fun. It is good. It's legendary. It's been going 15 years now. So
wow, exciting. Chris, listen, this has been brilliant. Thank you
so much for having me.
Where can we keep in touch? Where can we go and find all of your events, everything you've got going on?
Follow my Instagram. I've literally, I mean, there's too many handles to give it all the brands.
Tell us
at DJ Chris Wright.
DJ Chris
everything's on there. I post every single business that I have. If you want to follow or keep up with what I'm doing, just check that out.
Fantastic. Listen, you've been listening to the Moving Mountains podcast. My guest today has been Chris Wright. See you same time next week. All new episodes drops every Monday and Wednesday, available on all platforms.